All right, welcome back to Building a Drone with Bob. Let's take a look at where we're at. We've got the ESC all wired up, and now we need to get the flight controller wired up. And it's kind of hard to find a wiring diagram online, but this front side is the camera, and the back side here is the receiver with ground, 5-volt, and inverted receiver 2. And I think we're going to go ahead and use a FrSky RXSR receiver for this, just because I don't feel like using up a Crossfire. Just doesn't seem warranted for this application. So let's see if we can find the signal wire here. We want to get a, let's see, this is ground. Now, it came with a bunch of different wires. Let's see, is ground red and white. I bet that will fit in there like so. Yep. And then we connect this guy to this 5-pin over here. And yeah, I'm calling it quits. All right, so it looks like RX2 is what it says it was, but whatever. We're just gonna wire them up. Say adios. So this tip is way too large for these little itty-bitty pads. Well, that's not going to stop me. But what might is not have enough flux. So I'm just going to flux on the 5 and the ground and an R. Let's call it R1. R3. We'll use R3. I don't know. Chances are I can make whatever work on Betaflight I want. So here's that one. That one. These damn pads. So tiny. So tiny. Alright. So we're going to call it about, let's give it that much. We want about 1 millimeter of length on this guy. Give or take, maybe 2 millimeters. Yeah, that sounds better. 2 millimeters on these. And just give them a little twist so that not all hanging out in the wind. We'll just see. So we've got, I want to do red one first here. What we'll do is we'll hold this guy like so, put this like this, and we'll just work from left to right in the order in which they are. Hopefully you can actually see what I'm doing here. Good God. This tip. Yeah. Okay. One more try. All right, Echo. Come on. There's one. I feel like Louis Rossman. Sorry, those wires he does inside those Macs. God, that stuff's tiny. Okay. Oh, come on. Quit running away from me. Oh, come on. Nope, let go. Okay, let's see this. Okay. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Now, before you go anywhere, the next thing you want to do is double check your continuity, especially on pads these tiny. I mean, they're microscopic. Right. And bust out the old trusty multimeter. And set it to continuity checking. And make sure that it does, in fact, work. And then you just come over here. Doesn't matter which side you hit. But if you get continuity between your ground pad and your 5-volt pad, you've got a problem. Okay? So, and if you have bridged your receiver pad to your transmitter pad, yeah, you're going to have problems there too. All right? Or your ground to your transmitter. Yep. It looks like we don't have anything touching until I, touch the tips together. Let's make sure you can actually see this. Right? So all I'm doing is going into the 5 pad and I'm touching the 5-volt. Hello? All right. What are you doing, Greenlee? I've had this thing for years. It's always been reliable. All right. Yep. I think we're good. I think we're good. We'll see. The smoke stopper may disagree. All right. Great. Now, camera control is actually a whole lot easier because the camera mount here just takes this guy, and it looks like we don't even need to change the order of any of these pins, although we do have a giant ass wire here, so that's the one downside of this. But you know what, I'll live with it. We'll just wire it up, call it a day. And this guy is done at this point. Actually, we don't need to do anything else to this flight controller. I probably should have plugged it in and tested it beforehand, but I'm just going to live dangerously. I've already wired to the stack, so it doesn't really matter if it's DOA. I'll just buy a new one. They're a couple bucks at this point. I think I paid $50 for this stack, which is a pretty good deal, and it's a 35 amp. I don't know if I mentioned that the last time. I couldn't remember the last time, but I checked my order from Race Day Quads, and it was a 35 amp, which is pretty sweet. All right. Hopefully we can invert the signal, the R3 signal, And if not, we'll just plug this thing into something else. Alright. Blah, blah, blah. What's next? The VTX. Actually, you know what we should do before we go much further? We should mount up this camera module. I do not like how loose this guy is, but you know, it's one of those things where I'm not gonna fight too hard. Camera stuff. Okay, camera stuff. Got a new camera. Working with a Lumix. So it's a G7. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but you might be hearing my voice come through the mic on the camera that I have mounted up now, but I might end up using the lapel. It all depends. Depends which sounds better, you know? All right. Yeah. We're going to mount this so that my mounting options are kind of limited here if I want to have access to this card without taking out, you know, a bunch of stuff. It looks like I can actually set this back a little bit further so that I have plenty of tilt, up tilt here. I can't decide if that's a good idea or not. It's probably a good idea. Anyway, this guy came with all these 2mm mounts, so we're just going to use those. And it came with these very, very, very short screws, which are not going to be near long enough to go through this 3mm plate. So we'll just set that over there. We'll just come over and grab some of our handy dandy 2mm screws available from Amazon, and we'll slide these over. Can we slide these to the end? No. You know, smarter man would have mounted up these mounts first and then wired these wires to the inside so that they were nice and snug. And but what you got is me. All right. There's that one. And there's that one. Okay. That is those are the 20 by 20 holes, aren't they? They sure are. Good. Do the other two. That might be a bit too much, actually. Try the 6mm. 6mm. That's too little. Make it work somehow. Put a little spacer or something underneath if it's not wanting to snug up. That one snugged up. This one should too. Let's grab this guy. See if we can snug it up just a little bit. Is this one just extra long? Let's use a different one. All right. Coming down to it here. once we get this guy installed, what in the, you know what? Maybe this one just has a shallow bottom. Try a different one. There we go. All right. We're talking. I know, it's not the right tool for the job, but groovy. Alright, make sure we got all of our guys back down there. We're going to set this right on top. Or are we? You know what I'm going to do? I have these little rubber doohickeys. They come in handy every once in a while. And I think this might be a good time to actually, you know what am I doing? Right here next to me, I have 2mm ones right there. This is from another stack, I think. I think the HDLRC ones, possibly. Yeah. Whenever possible, just put a little extra cushioning on it, and that'll keep from, you know, damaging stuff in a crash. Just give it a little bit of extra play. You don't need these on top because you're going to snug down on this a little tiny bit. So, like so, like that. And then these guys go down on top like so. And this guy goes on top. And this guy goes on top. And I don't know if this thing's even picking up my voice or not. We'll see. Alright. And down on top. Oh. I just crossed the 31-minute mark for this. That's a good sign. This brand new camera is supposed to have a 30-minute limit, and it's been hacked to allow for the longer recording time. So hopefully it sounds good and looks good and isn't getting corrupted or anything weird like that, and isn't using up all 64 gigs of my card. We'll see. Was that 4mm? Not the right one. There. Okay. Now we'll just take this and this, and we'll start giving it some twists. Don't go crazy with it, yeah, but just get her snugged down in here a little bit. Looks like it's got it. You know what I probably should have checked is is the voltage requirements for this. Oh, it says 5 to 20 volts. Ah, that's good. That's a relief. Hopefully whatever BEC is on this little flight controller handles the requirements for this. We can hope anyway. Alright, let's clean up a little bit before we keep going. No point in moving forward with stuff on the deck. Alright. The next one up is going to be the VTX. Alright, so the VTX mounts up kind of like this. And then we put the hopefully, yes, look. I have just enough to squeeze this guy on top. Alright. And we're sandwiched down. That looks good. Yeah. Micro stacks. They are itty bitty. I worked with some 16 by 16 stacks in the past and they are tiny. I mean, oh my god. It is a pain to solder on those things. But it's all in the name of fun. Have a good time with this. Okay, let's see where we are here. Let me see how my iPhone is recording. Yeah. Yep, still recording. 35 minutes in. Okay. And we've got this guy getting cranked down here. We want to make sure it's just snug. We don't want to go super He-Man tight on this just yet. And then that looks pretty good. And then this guy will come up out the back a bit, like so. Let's find our, let's cover up this guy, get rid of this. Alright, this is the XRSR. Hopefully we've got everything configured the right way. Hopefully. That's 60 aware. So we've got that, and we've got these guys. Alright. So this guy, okay, yeah. This guy holds kind of like that. Can run a pigtail out the back, and good. Alright, so we've got our stack pretty well mounted. We've got our receiver wired up. Let's go ahead and start getting the front on so we can mount up our camera, and we'll figure out which of these screws we should probably use for that. We've got shorties, 2, 3, actually looks like we've got enough of the really long ones to make do. Let's go with, wait, do I need 8? Oh no, the top plate is a different thickness. Alright, we'll use the long ones in the bottom, the short ones in the top. That. And then come up through there. And tighten that down. And then let's go. So this guy's going to sit in here. Does the HD camera go on top? I guess it does. Alright. And it comes out quite a ways, huh? So the top, why is that so shallow? Yeah, okay. That'll work. It'll work. Yeah. So just get it down over top of the pegs, about the same amount on each side. The standoffs, I mean. And then we'll run this guy in from this side. Let's use our head here and do it like every other manufacturer has provided me with a screw that fits this 1.5 millimeter, but I don't think that this one is 1.5 millimeter. It's close. Well, I think it just does not want to go. Oh, come on. Where are you? There it is. Third time's a charm. Okay. And then we'll flip it around and do this other side. And try and line it up best we can. Okay. What's that? About 10, 15 degrees of up tilt? Something like that? Maybe 20. I don't know. I can't tell. But that's looking pretty good. Let's see if we can get the back on. And this guy is like so. Yeah, I know I didn't solder on the capacitor here, but I don't often run one. I feel like they get in the way, they bang against stuff, they short out against other things, especially in a quad like this where, I mean, I've got positive and negative like a millimeter apart on the back. It's too close for comfort, in my opinion. So I'd rather just avoid that if at all possible. All right, let's see. What do I have in terms of antenna over here? Let me see. What do we got? What do we got? I'm probably bumping around my camera at this point. came with a pigtail. What do I get here? Okay, there we go. Better. Still recording. Still recording. Still recording. Good. Yeah, the came with a pigtail, and we can make that work, or we can find something that this is SMA. Needs to be an what is it? MMCX? MMCX. Used to be an MMCX. Good lord, I don't know what all this. And there's pigtails and pigtails, and more pigtails. MMCX, and what is this? DJI? This is the DJI one. We could run, because I used a different one for my DJI. We could do something like this. Will that even work? Could run it straight on out. What else we got? I can't believe that's all the. Nope, UFL. Yeah, I got UFL. I've got, yep. Nope. Whole lot of nope going on today. Guess what we're using? We're either using the DJI one or we're using the pigtail. What's it going to be? It's a 3-inch. So props are going to be spinning this way. They're not likely to get into this guy. Pigtail it is. We'll see how she flies with the pigtail. And all right, doing good, making good time, I think. So now we've got 2 of these. We need to figure out if we're gonna hang this from the top, which I think we probably should. Did this thing come with any? No. Didn't come with any. Yeah, the Crossfire comes with a little bit of shrink wrap. You know, so you're not getting into it. That's weird. Either I mislaid it or it just didn't come with it. That's a good thing. I always cut it. One Crossfire gives you in half. This is probably overkill here. My heat gun is upstairs. I let my wife borrow it. So we're just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Yay. That looks all right. And we want to cut out, this is a tip I got from Mr. Steele, blatantly stealing it, copying it, is to cut the bind button. Just take your nice sharp X-Acto and put a little cut on either side of the bind button. Go along the side of the PCB and then along the back as best you can, and then just lift that little square up out of there, and that's going to do it. Okay, now as you can see, if you can, that bind button is now pressable, you know, without getting, oh, you can hear the click. You can probably hear the battery charger over here as well. Alright, and let's see if we can get this guy on the back, and then we'll run this on the top plate, something like something like that. And then out the back. Let's see if that'll go. All right, getting closer. Let's take a little bit of sticky. This is just a roll of servo tape. And we'll just stick this here to this guy, like so. Find about the position we want it. Say right about there. Yep. And boom. Yep. Okay. Now run this guy. Let's do this. Let's run this through here. And then we'll run this into the VTX. Hopefully you can see this. Alright, once you hear the click, you're good. I should probably held it here. Click. Yep. Okay. Now this guy comes up and over like so. And these guys run one up from there, one out from there. Let's just run these. It's getting a little crowded here. Alright, we're going to disconnect, move these power wires to the other side of the connector. See if we can make it work that way. And we're in. Good. And then now what we'll do is we'll take this guy and we'll just kind of feed these wires, these antenna wires, down this way. Okay. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's just tentatively put these guys in because we got to run a battery strap and we got to run a couple other things before we can even power on this thing. And I think we're going to call it a night here in a minute. Turn off my Echo. It doesn't need to be tight yet. We'll go back and tighten all these down. We may even use a little Loctite. I don't know. We'll see. I don't normally run Loctite on my motors. But it's just a little bit of inconvenience if I need to move them. Do something else with them. Okay. Here's what we got so far. Let's see if I can get these wires to cooperate and go up through here. Like Let's just see if we can get it up through there first. Okay, I'm going to hold that one, and then take this guy. And attempt to feed it. Hey, look at that, first try. Okay, next one. Oh, come on, don't play me like this. Hey, 2 for 2. Alright, I'm going to cut this guy just about there. Alright, get this guy. Okay. And then this one needs to come up from there to about here. This would actually be the perfect setup for an immortal well. I should have put a crossfire on it. Alright, checking my time. We've been recording for an hour, and we're still going strong. And checking my... Yep, 54 minutes in. Okay, good. Still rolling. Alright. Here it is. Looking pretty good. Stack doesn't feel too tight or too loose. The camera is mounted up. It's not too stiff where it sits. We can run it. Doesn't look like it's going to be moving too much. The motor's all spin free. Now, all we need to do is hook it up to Betaflight, make sure everything spins the right way, and then put on some props and take it for a little spin. See if it flies. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see how this take this on a maiden voyage.